Plaintiff Andrew Thomas says he agreed to buy a car from the defendant, but when he showed up to her home, she was dressed provocatively in a low-cut shirt. Andrew claims the car turned out to be a lemon, so he's suing to get his money back. Defendant Rachel HUTTO insists she was in her pajamas when Andrew came over, and he was flirtatious with her, despite the fact that she's married. She's countersuing for lost wages.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
First, let me apologize if I held you all waiting for an extra couple of minutes. Over the COVID break, I didn't have much to do, so I started watching the soaps.
Used to do that in the 80s.
Yeah, and there you see, yeah, like I did when I was kicked out of school as a kid. I used to watch them with my mother. Now, y'all give me a whole year of nothing to do.
Yeah.
Start back watching my soap.
You're hooked.
And so today, there was going to be a big disclosure by Rick. So I'm sorry, I had to watch the end of my story.
That's great.
My mama taught me to watch the stories, and I'm back. And you better not say nothing. If you talk about me to watching stories, you're talking about my mama. All right. All right, and sir, you give me some background information on your association with the defendant. I know you're suing for a refund on the car, but tell me about any other association.
I just met her over Facebook, over a buy and trade advertising app, and we agreed on buying a car. She told me I can come out there and look at it. When she got finished doing what she was doing, and she called my phone. She told me I can come out there and look at it. It's kind of late. I told her I had to call and see if my mechanic was still gonna be available. What
were the circumstances that caused you and your mechanic friend to go by?
Because I'm the lemon man. And I done bought a bunch of lemons. So when it comes down to buying a car nowadays, I'm bringing somebody that's professional or that knows something about cars.
Got it. And what happened?
Okay, when we pulled up at her house, which was dark times, could barely see, because she waited so late for us to come. She said that she was just coming home from pizza, getting some pizza from her kids or something like that. But when we pulled up, she was dressed very provocative. She had like a low-cut shirt on. She had all this tight spandex stuff on.
You'll never forget that, will you?
Never forget. I'm telling you. Listen.
What car?
That was a lie. I wasn't even dressed up that night.
He forgot about the car altogether.
Yeah, I wasn't even dressed up.
Finished, man.
She was dressed like a hooker.
Stop that.
No, for real.
Stop that. Don't do that.
Okay.
Sir, no, you're not going to do that.
Okay.
So she was dressed provocatively.
Yeah. Not professional like this today, though.
Provocatively, and you should conclude that she was doing that for you, not as a hooker.
Yeah.
You should give yourself some credit. She knew I was coming.
Yeah.
Put that outfit on for me. Yeah. That ain't unusual. That happens most times I visit. That's how you should look at it. Give yourself credit. Don't put her down.
Okay.
All right. So, anybody ever told you you look like Jesse?
No. They sell out like
From all my children back in the 80s, you look like Jesse a little.
They say I look like
Jesse. You ran off with Angela. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't mean to deviate, but y'all got me thinking about my story.
All right.
Continue.
Well, actually, so my mechanic, he kept on, he's getting off track, so I had to stop him. Hey, listen, it's my money. You know what I mean? Don't let me spend my money if this car ain't right. Because one time she was like, I want to show you something. Do you have a flashlight? He pulled out his flashlight. He put it on her. I was like, listen, had to stop him. Hey, listen, I need to keep it under the hood because I'm finna spend my money. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? She said we can get a test drive. I asked her, I said, can I stay at your house with you while they spin corners, go do what they need to do? She said she didn't mind. So I sat there, I talked to her, I said, hey, I'm a DoorDasher, I deliver food. Is this a good car? You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm looking for a good car, you know what I mean? She said, it's a great car, I put a lot of money into it. It should last for years. They're gonna like the car when they come back. Which they did. They came back, they said, hey, it's a good car, we can get the car. I said, all right.
So what?
He said it was a good car.
You're a mechanic?
Yeah, he said it was a great car. He said, go ahead and get it. So I had went over and made the transaction with her. So she had gave me a bumper to go along with the car. So when she gave me that bumper and she got my money, she had went in the house Now, it was kind of hard to open up the trunk, Judge. So I told my friend, I said, hey, go knock on the door and ask Miss Rachel how to open the trunk up. I would put this bumper in the trunk. All right, Miss Rachel never come back to the door. Never come back to the door. I was like, she just got my money and just went in. So I gave it a couple minutes. I thought maybe she went to the bathroom. I went back over there. I knocked on the door. Nobody never came. So she just never came back to the door to explain it. So it was kind of like a red flag, but I didn't want to stay in her yard too long, so I just went on and drove home. All right, so when I got home, you know, I Googled it about the car, the year, special features. I wanted to know what every button meant. I was just sat in the car. I was looking at every button. I was Googling, YouTubing it. And so when I woke up the next morning, I'm finna drive through. I'm ready to drive. The car don't crank. So I was like, God, what's wrong with it? I said, maybe I killed the battery last night when I had the door open, doing what I was doing. So I tell my sister, if she don't mind, will she take me to the auto part store? So I did. So I went in, I'm familiar with the guys at the store, so I asked him, can he give me a charge my battery up? He was like, I said, I bought a new car last night, and I just want you to charge my battery up. Maybe I killed it. He said, you bought a car last night? I said, yes. He said, this is a boat battery. I said, a boat battery? He said, yes, this might have came out of an RV or something. It wasn't even a car battery. It was a quick hookup for a quick sale, is what the guy told me. Yes, sir. When I went in there, you know, I was happy. I was like, I got this new car, you know. He's like, new car? This come out of a boat.
I don't believe this.
Listen, it's on page 16.
Who's saying it?
The manager. I even got him to print it out.
All right, let me get
I got him to print it out.
Okay, let me get to her.
Okay, first of all, I was not dressed provocatively at all. I was not even dressed up that night because it was 10 o'clock at night when he came to my house. I was in my pajamas. And my husband and 4 kids were there looking out the window, making sure nothing bad would happen. He went to go get the money. He couldn't get the money out of the ATM, so we had to run the credit card. He came back from the ATM so drunk, and he was really flirtatious with me and stuff. And I don't think I led him on in any type of way. I explained everything that was done to the car and everything I'd put in it. And yes, it did have a bigger battery in it. It wasn't a boat battery, but it was a brand new battery. And
why was it bigger than the usual battery?
Because I wanted to make sure it started every time for me, and it was brand new.
Where'd you get the battery from?
AutoZone. Yes.
You have a receipt?
I don't have the receipt for the battery. I don't have the receipt for the battery. No, sir. I have a bunch of other receipts for the parts I have purchased for the car.
This is a very central issue to this case, because I know you're going to say it was as is. So, what year was it again, the car?
95.
Come on now. You know everything was wrong with that car. But the boat battery is what gets me. Now, that's just funny, man.
Yes.
It is hard to believe. You're right. But what do you have to prove that? What page?
I had to turn in that.
Where do I see something saying the wrong battery?
I couldn't get him to pull that up, but she just admitted it. But he was only eligible to give me this.
Who admitted it? Who just admitted it?
She just admitted that it was the wrong battery.
No, she said it was bigger
large.
I said
than usual. She didn't say
it
wrong.
was a bigger battery.
And you say boat battery. Yeah. Those are 2 major differences.
Yes.
An auto battery that is bigger versus a boat battery. Nonetheless, and you don't have a receipt, why did you get a bigger one?
I purchased that battery about 2 months before he bought the car. It was brand new, and I don't have a receipt for the battery because I wasn't planning on selling the car.
I got that, but why did you buy a bigger battery?
Because the battery, when I bought it, was bad.
All right. Nonetheless, what else was wrong?
So after...
What happened after that?
After that, my sister was excited about the car. So she wanted to drive it, so I let her drive it. And when she get back, she said, bro, did you look at this? You don't have a windshield wiper. Well, I contacted Rachel and I asked her, I said, Rachel, did you forget to mention that in the description, in the describing part about the car? She said, yes, I forgot to mention that. And I said, well, if you would have told me
You have a description of the car she gave you?
Yes, sir.
A detailed description on the condition?
Yes, sir.
All right, what page is that on?
That's on page 4.
All right, where's the list, sir? Page 4 is text messages.
Page 4 is only saying that I asked her.
And those are texts.
Yes, sir. Okay, this is what.
I don't know what expectations you had for buying a 95 Mercedes. Obviously, you wanted to be Benz down, but 95, you took a risk of spending a lot of money on a, what is that? I can't even count well enough.
26-year-old car.
A 26-year-old Mercedes, sir. And now you want your money back because the windshield wiper didn't work.
No, she never mentioned that in the.
You have the battery reimbursement, sir? You said that she gave you a detailed description of the condition. You have no such thing. You told me earlier you had something from a mechanic that says it was a boat battery. You have no such thing. So I'm not going to keep letting you tell me you have something you don't. What is your last comment?
After I left there, I wanted to go get it on the dialysis machine and kind of find out it was a bad transmission. That was on page 15.
What page?
But I got it right on page 15.
Now, why did you just mentioning that? That's much bigger than a battery, sir.
Okay,
that should have been the first thing out your mouth. She sold you a faulty transmission. You're coming here talking about a $150 battery. Yeah. Ma'am, you know anything about this, the transmission?
Yes, sir. I did not.
Bad transmission.
The transmission was shifting fine when he bought the car. The motor ran perfect. Not a tick to the engine, nothing.
Talking transmission. When did you have this done? August 27th?
Yes, sir.
When did you first recognize there was a problem?
Because I had to go and get an estimate on the windshield wiper and on
what date?
Motor.
That's the same date?
Yes, sir. I was trying to see how much it was going to cost for me.
But what was going wrong with the transmission?
I put it on the dialysis machine just to get everything checked, and that's what had came out.
So where's the car now?
It's at my sister's house.
Is the transmission working?
Slipping.
Okay, it's a 26-year-old car, sir. I don't know what you expected. You wouldn't put it on the machine to find out what was wrong with it. But what's wrong with it in this case is nothing that she should be responsible for in an as-is sale. 24 days after you brought a 26-year-old car, it starts slipping. That's what you've told me, that you put it on the machine and the machine said the transmission is slipping. That's a big difference. You still drive the car. It's still operable. As is, folks, as I've said many times, unless it's inoperable when you buy it, or she lied to you about the condition, there's no case. We could lie to you about what, sir?
Okay, page 5, I asked her right there. I said, is this car available?
This is after or before?
This is before. On page 5, it says, hello, is this car still available? She says, yes. And in her description, she said, the only thing was wrong with this car was just the AC.
Just the AC, correct? You say that. You say that. You say that. Where'd you get your information?
It's page 4. It comes.
Now you go on to page 4.
Yeah,
Sir, I'm gonna give you $149.99. I don't think she owes you the total cost of that car returned because of a windshield wiper, the wrong battery, and for the transmission slipping on a 26-year-old car. Your emotional distress, I'm dismissing that because certainly it's related to what you believe she did to you regarding the sale of a car with the wrong size battery and windshield wipers. Lost wages, how does he owe you, ma'am? This is not frivolous. I know that's what you want lost wages for. That's the only condition in which people get lost wages if there was not a legitimate lawsuit. This is very much legitimate, so much so that he won. He didn't win enough to make it a brand new car, which is what he wanted for a 1995 Mercedes. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Yes, I would like to say he's a liar, that transmission was not slipping in that car. The car ran perfect. Your mechanic even said it ran perfect. And I was not dressed like a provocative woman.
Okay, she was dressed provocative, and she knew that car was bad car. You know, I ain't mad at her. She made a mistake. You know, he said I won, so.
I'm not mad at him either.
Yeah, I ain't mad at her.
Okay.
I know the truth.